Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Listen to Your Parents podcast. I'm Matt with my lovely wife, Jen, here in Pittsburgh. Honey, how are you doing?
Horrible.
How are you? Well, would you care to elaborate on that for everybody before we listen to other people's problems? Or would you just like...
Everyone is on my nerves.
Yeah.
This house is going to become Survivor pretty soon. Somebody's going to get voted off.
Cheers.
Is it going to be me?
Good luck, man.
I hope it's me. Please be me.
Can it be me?
Online learning started Monday, and I quit on the first day. After telling my oldest that you have to wear pants to online learn. That didn't go
You're
over
so strict in your house.
So
So
mean.
strict.
Well, come on.
All right, let's introduce some disembodied voices here for everybody before you get carried away here. Just give you a chance to catch your breath and, grab your favorite beverage. You hear over there, that is, you heard them on a past episode, Chris and Elena from Buffalo, my cousin and his wife. And how you guys doing?
We're hanging in there just like everybody else, I feel like.
Sometimes it's a hug, sometimes it's a strangle on my neck. But somehow there's always contact, at least between the two of us.
Because we can't leave each other.
Yeah. And joining us first time on the podcast tonight, our friend Tina, who is living in Seattle. Tina, how are you doing?
Taking it one day at a time, surviving.
Yeah. We always kind of introduce people, just let us know kind of what is the life work situation for you right now? Kids, works, all that stuff.
So I'm an essential worker. First off, I do case management for homeless veterans, providing them supportive services if they need be, but obviously for foregone conclusion is trying to get them into permanent housing. It's just me. No really support system out here, just raising my 11-year-old son.
Now, you mentioned he just had a birthday.
Not yet. His birthday is not until next month.
But still, I mean, we were talking about this. This seems to keep coming up because it seems all our kids are having birthdays this time of year, and it is tough.
Yeah,
it's tough for them. I mean, there's really nothing you could do.
No, not essentially. So we usually have a tradition because his birthday's like mid-May, and that's when like all the summer blockbusters come out, particularly Marvel, his favorite, comes out. So we always go to do Free Comic Book Day the first weekend in May, Red Robin, and then the Marvel movie that comes out.
Yeah.
So our governor just came out today that the stay-at-home order has been extended to May 4th. And so our usual birthday tradition, for the first time in like 8 years, we can't do. And he was visibly heartbroken.
Yeah.
We just had our son's birthday. The first day that we had our stay-at-home order was his birthday. And I know Noah just had a birthday too, and it's so crazy how it like really kind of makes you feel like there's nothing you can do. And
It hits home when the traditions and things that you depend on are even stripped away from you.
Yeah.
although I have a tip, I don't know if this is even possible. We just participated in a birthday parade. I don't know if you've heard about this.
What is that?
So like my friend had a daughter who was turning 13, and she organized all of their friends to come and drive by her house
It was a secret flash mob.
at 5 o'clock on whatever day it was. I don't remember.
Surprise.
It was a surprise. She didn't know anything about it, and everyone made signs and hung them out their window and like played music for her. It was really kind
It
of
was
a
just
cool
everybody doing their
experience.
own thing as you went by in your car and just waved to them.
Just be obnoxious.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
Yeah, you could just have his friends or whatever. It doesn't have to be like family. It could be anybody. It could be like your friends, his friends, anybody that wants
even
to.
like a costume type thing, I guess, for that, where you dress up as superheroes and such.
Oh, that'd be fun too. You could have a theme. You could have a Marvel theme.
Yeah.
It would be cool, but the unfortunate thing about it, we live in an apartment complex, so that would be a little bit.
I can still drive by, look out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And
probably,
it would be more difficult.
and that's the interesting thing too, is that everyone's in different environments, whether it's suburban versus city, and then also how strict things are there. So I'd like to hear more about, like, if you went to an open area, is that something that you would even be able to drive by, like in a parking lot or something like that,
yeah.
or things like that,
Depends.
or even on the off list?
That's pretty much on the off list. Like, you can like do something like take walks for like mental health, but like as for like being in like, you can't like literally can't be have no more than a group of 10, social distancing, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Did you get any like directives from like the folks who run the apartment complex or anything like that? Or has it kind of been everyone for themselves a little bit?
Everything is shut down. Like, our leasing office went virtual.
Wow.
What was his saving grace is that he was able to go to like our half court basketball in our inside our clubhouse. Can't do that. And just recently they as well as closed all the outside amenities to the playgrounds and stuff too. So it's literally just stay at home.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's our life.
All right. So since we got the ball rolling, Tina, since you live in Seattle, and this was like one of the first areas of the country to really catch this, you were here. You were in the middle of this before all of us out here in the East were really taking it very seriously. It was still, I don't want to say we were making jokes, but look, we were making jokes. All right.
You were.
There was like
you were.
Corona beer jokes and things like that. And I distinctly remember, and I don't know if it was like late January, early February, somewhere around, maybe even that early, that you were just like, this isn't funny, guys. Like, you shouldn't be making jokes. And like, I mean, I'm saying it because you were right. But like, how far back, like, when did things really start to change for you out west?
I want to say, oh gosh, late February, like I want to say mid to late February,
Wow.
is when they started, like actually like thinking about like more prevention. Let's see, was it? No, actually, it was early March. I apologize, like early mid March. So, like, I think I want to. That's like is when they start shutting down the bars, like restaurants, public gatherings. Actually, it was at first it was no more than 50 people.
Mhm.
As the it was the major Seattle area, which is the counties out here, and then once it slowly increased, that's when everything went statewide.
Can we still do takeout?
Yeah, we can still do takeout and delivery. We just can't dine in. Major things like Starbucks, like their cafes closed, but if they have drive-through, you can still do.
That's hard.
Yeah, that's ours is.
So, just getting back to like was kind of like grasping this at first, because I got the sense from talking to you back then that you were sensing that not everyone had the full understanding of what was going on.
Yeah, no one. And I guess it was just me because of what I do, for work. Essentially, I have to treat it. You always have to have a backup plan or a contingency plan when it comes to any major illness, and just like common sense, and then ramp it up. But
So what's I mean, it feels like, I mean, obviously you've been in the middle of all these extra precautions and being stuck inside for all this time, longer than most of us out here in the East have been. So just like, I don't know, like, feel what the next week or so is going to be like, because
that is
this last one wasn't so great. So.
that is the interesting thing about it. I don't have to stay inside because I'm an essential worker. I guess to give our listeners an idea of what I do, I provide case management services for homeless veterans. That's essentially meeting them where they're at, trying to get them supportive services, whether it's substance abuse, mental health, but the ultimate goal literally is to get them into permanent housing. So I still have to commute to my office every day, but I can't do a major function, which is outreach. So meeting veterans at the shelters, meeting veterans at different direct service sites. Sometimes I'm with escorts. I do have to go into the homeless encampments a lot of the time to try to get services to veterans. So that is on hold for a little while, as well as like multiple, like the gatherings for trainings and stuff like that. But essentially, my job hasn't changed.
Yeah.
It was just, but of course, just extra precautions and stuff. So just be more contingent on hand washing, disinfecting, stuff like that, especially who we're dealing, the population that I deal with mostly, and then for our own health.
Well, how much have things changed for kind of the homeless population, since you're maybe not interacting as directly with them right now, but you probably, I would guess you have a sense for like how things may have changed or not in some of those encampments or shelters or whatnot.
It's changed quite a bit because there occupied than we are, and it should be the other in a sense, like because they've being out in the streets, you are vulnerable to all different kinds of stuff. So in a sense, if they come here or if they contract it in some way, form, or another, that could be added on to whatever the ailment that they have. So, and then there's a thing like if you and once you are contracted or you do like you have the symptoms, you have to go into isolation, and that can be very traumatic for somebody who's been living on the street who's not used to being in some place on their own. So it definitely messes with the psyche. And then we're not going to go into the like vulnerable populations of health issues as well as age as well.
Right. Yeah, age is probably a big factor there. I assume that a lot of them are older in the condition, but not always.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah.
How's your son handling all this?
He feels pretty isolated just because, as I mentioned before, it's just me and him out here. We do have little support, like a few friends, but other than that, it's just been pretty much us two. So, but he's more subdued, or his feelings are kind of hurt more than he would like to admit.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's bad time of year for allergies.
I know for us personally, it's been tough. We've got two sons. One just turned 13, the other one is 10. Our 13-year-old needs a little bit more attention than our 10-year-old needs, although our 10-year-old will never let you believe that.
No.
But
Never.
I know that it's been tough on our 10-year-old because of just of how much of our attention has to go to Noah.
Sure.
That Mason's has oftentimes been kind of like, Mason, you've just got to go and do your thing somewhere else, you know?
Yeah.
And it's hard to make him understand that. I'm sure he's feeling some of that isolation too.
That's actually quite the opposite. Usually the extent of the conversation is, how's work? It was okay. What'd you do? Yeah, for dinner. I don't know. What do you want for dinner? I was like, what else? What chore did you do today? Did you do the chore on the whiteboard today? He's like, I think I did. But other than that, yeah.
So are you at work full time? Like, how do you homeschool him?
I don't.
Okay.
It's pretty much self-guided. Yeah.
Wow,
I should mention, I do not invest in childcare. Pretty much, he's pretty much independent on his own.
Sure.
He does his chores like he's supposed to. Depending on what we decide on dinner, he does the basic prep for dinner and stuff like that.
Wow.
That's nice. Yeah. I was wondering about that because one thing that I'm really struggling with right now is the homeschooling aspect. And, you know, I know everyone's just kind of making it up as they go, but it's been a bit of a challenge, especially with two middle schoolers that have like 5, 6 teachers each. So it's me filtering through all of their emails every morning and trying to figure out what they want them to do today. And I'm like, lucky I have an education background and I am able to provide, but I think about people like my sister who's a nurse and a single parent, and she can't sit there and do that. Like, she still has to go to work. So it's kind of crazy when she gets a phone call from the counselor saying, hey, are you able to get the work done? I see you didn't hand in an assignment. It's like, are you kidding me right now?
Yeah, and to be candid, I still do have that little bit of that struggle with him turning in assignments.
Sure.
Especially with him, he is a special needs child.
Yeah.
Just due to him having ADHD and oppositional defiance disorder. At least having that set routine, making sure he hits his benchmarks. Once he sees what he's supposed to do, it's just fine.
Yeah, well, that's good. It's good for you. I mean, I'm sure there's other people that are in different circumstances that have more difficulty, you know, or high schoolers that are babysitting the younger kids that can't get their work done. It's,
you know, and
kind of funny.
The thing that's interesting to me is that when they're in their normal day at middle school, I think we're all talking about the same age with our children, is that when they're there, they're expected to kind of do their own stuff. They take their own assignments. We hardly ever hear from the teachers.
True.
And I'm starting to think there's a big disparity where they're relying on the parents to filter through all the emails now to figure out what their kids should be doing. And then the question is, isn't that too much? Shouldn't it be enough where the kid still has that?
Well, and they do on
ability of
some level,
independence?
but
they do,
then
but they can't handle all that.
it's not uniform, and
It's not uniform.
it's
Everyone's
hard for
coming
me
from
to go
different
through.
directions.
So
One of the things that also comes up then, because that's my own gripe, is like, look, before they were all independent, and now you're expecting the parents to do all this. The other one is that we're in 3 different states. We're in New York. We have Governor Cuomo kind of hitting hard on everything.
he just took our spring break away too.
I mean,
so now
we have
to
homework
instruct
all the way
our
through. The
spring
teachers have
break.
got to justify their pay, which means the students have to justify their existence. And now to that point, it's even we don't even get a spring break. I
It's
wonder,
crazy.
just at a high level, how are things in the other states that you guys?
Do you guys still have spring break?
We
Yes.
just have Good Friday and Easter
Oh.
Monday off.
Is
So
that how it
basically
always was?
we lost a day.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you didn't have a whole week off though.
Yeah, we didn't
No.
have like a full.
No, we didn't
spring
have a
break
full
thing.
week off.
We had 6 days off. We had Friday all the way through the next Monday.
And now that-
We had our normal we do have our normal spring break because it was
Nice.
actually scheduled for April 13th through the 17th. So it still goes on.
I think that's ours as well, but
Yeah, but our school
Not
district,
anymore.
at least out here, still has it scheduled just as spring break.
that's nice. Fingers crossed it stays that way. It's like you can't go on that vacation you paid for. Oh, and also you're going to be teaching your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think after last week I've done enough lying for right now.
Jen, I think, do you want to talk about doing schoolwork at home?
I quit.
Yeah, they won. But did you quit? You did not quit because of the schools. Did you quit because of your kids? Is that what happened?
Oh yeah, I quit because of them.
Are you writing thank you letters to their teachers right now?
You know, everybody at the start of next year, every teacher, because I mean, they just have just homeroom, like a main teacher.
Mhm.
I don't care. I'll give you whatever you want.
I think we said that already.
You want a trip to Hawaii? I'll give you a trip to Hawaii.
You know, my father-in-law's got a good timeshare.
Yeah,
Maybe
I mean,
we can work out a deal.
I mean, it's crazy. It's hard to. It's really challenging to kind of like find that sweet spot. Find like when they're in the zone, especially for Noah. He kind of starts to. You could feel him like getting into like school mode later in the morning, almost lunchtime, and then you've got like a 2-hour window between like 11:30 and 1:30 when you can really operate. Everything outside of that, he's liable to want to do anything.
You
He's
know,
done.
and what are we pointing out here is exactly when they get the cues, the social cues and the triggers. Like there's a school bus, you're getting into a classroom. There's people around you that are doing the same thing. You're supposed to sit here and conform. And when you do all those things, you get the magic, which is a teacher can stand in front of 35 of them and not just 2 and do their job. But when they're in their home, in the area where they have their video games and their junk food and normally where they get to play with their friends, they don't have any of those cues. And so you're trying to find that right resonance to do it. And oh, by the way, there's a whole bunch of adults that are just finding out how difficult it is to keep their own attention and work from home and do the things that are their real ambitions. And yet we're still expecting kids to conform to this.
And you know, it's interesting. I taught pre-K before I was a stay-at-home mom, and you'd have like as a parent now, my kids gave up naps real early.
I was thinking about this.
They
I
gave up
didn't even-
naps really
Yeah, go
soon.
ahead.
But the funny thing is, like, you go into a pre-K class and a kid who literally never naps will fall asleep because guess what? Everyone else is.
It's so funny
It's
that-
like the expectation.
It's so funny that you bring that up. There was a webcam on Dominic, our first child, who hardly napped at all. And I look at this webcam, I'm seeing him sleeping on a cot like he's in a cult, along with 10 of his peers, and they're just like totally still. And I'm like, how
are you getting
what
him to
magic
nap?
trick is doing this right now? Like, how are and it's because they have those cues that everyone else is doing it. We have to
They
do it.
have the environment.
And here they're with their parents, and they routinely shout no to us if they hear us at all.
Right.
So
yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
funny. Yeah, so how are we supposed to do this?
The cues is interesting because especially later this. Oh my God, what the heck happened in the other room? Wait, hold on a second. I'm just blasting from the other room.
The good news is we
I'll be
only
right
heard it a
back.
little.
Oh,
we
go
only
ahead,
heard
go
it a
ahead.
little bit. For you guys, you're like, oh, that just went through
It's like
everybody's ears.
blasting from the other room. Anyway, getting back to we were talking about kind of sending them cues, and I did try this morning. I tried to like kind of like almost like order them to get dressed for school in a way, but like like kind of looser. And I was just like,
You're
go
right.
upstairs, change your damn shirt at least, put on some deodorant, brush your teeth. I'm not dealing with this funk all day, and then come back down, and then we'll talk. All right, and then we'll talk about what happens next. And at least the house smelled a little better today, if nothing else. So,
We didn't get any work done, but
we didn't get much work done. I mean, this was a tough day today.
Today was bad.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we did okay. We kind of got what we needed to get done. Today was rough. Like they were both having like none of it, and it just comes in like it's just waves of just like increasing like irritability with each other.
No, and I feel like as a society, we're putting way too much pressure on like academics, and I'm just like the mental health of my house right now, it's the top. If it means we get literally nothing done and my kids all fail, I'm gonna just take that and move on, because I can't live in a house where I'm like making my kids cry while they're already stressed out with a heightened sense of crazy because they can't see their friends. I don't know. I can't figure out what to do. But Dominic, however, my 13-year-old, is now doing his homework in the morning on the phone with a friend. So that's motivating, because then
that sounds like cheating
together. Well, I mean, I'll do it
Please.
for them. Is that worse?
Is cheating better than incomplete? Because I think that's where we're at. He's still going over the material.
With Mason today, he it was just a worksheet, and then he just had to click on it and fill it out. And I was like, by 15 minutes, I was done. And I was like, just give me your laptop, I'll type it. Tell me, I'll just type it for you.
I do that with IXL. I put the answers in for them because they like mistype and then you go back like 6 points. I'm like, no, I'm going to type in the answers and then it's right, because I don't want to do this any longer either. Like it's not.
Any wrong answer is a penalty for more time for everybody. We don't want that.
Yeah.
I get a lot of like stuff that came up this week was like they'll show you a picture of something, all right? Like Mason's doing his like whatever science thing he had to do. There's like, this is a balance, this is a ruler, this is a test tube. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, is that a balance or they call it a scale? Was that a test tube or are they calling it a like what are they calling this crap now? Because like
what is it these days?
Sometimes what are they using this stuff for? Like you're just like trying to like call back on your like it reminds you that it's not necessarily like what it's not necessarily how much you know, it's trying to figure out what they're trying to.
That's true. What they want you to say.
What one interpretation of these 2 or 3 different items or phrases are they trying to like hammer home? Because you know they're talking like mass and volume. I'm like, this is like, I'm like, no, there are not a million ways to do this. There's got to be one answer, the one they're looking for.
What about the one that I said was a magnifying glass?
Oh, and it wasn't.
And it was like a hand.
It was a hand lens.
A hand
It was not a magnifying glass.
Hand lens.
And I'm like trying to
I give up.
I was like, what's the point?
I was like, I know I'm right, but according to them, I am not.
I was doing Dominic's math homework, and he was doing circumference. And so first of all, I'm like, shoot, what's circumference? Because I haven't done this in a long time. And it's 2 pi r. Right? And so I'm like, but can it just be pi d? Like, why are we doing math twice here? Like, why am I taking the diameter and then having it and then doubling it again? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. You're dealing with all these nightmares that have, I mean, they've always been there, like when the kids will bring home homework or assignments and you're looking at like whatever, like the Common Core math and the stuff like that looks nothing like what you got it when you were a kid, and you're just, and now you're not only like having to like not only just like help them through it, but now you're like sitting there, you've got to like get it done with them. It's just
there was a meme in the beginning, and it was like it was something about when you're, to all you Common Core kids, you're about to learn how to carry the one from your new homeschool teachers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what? We're gonna do it this way from now on.
Absolutely.
I think there was like a video on, oh gosh, I can't recall how long ago it was, about how to solve a problem. How long does it take to solve a problem with the Common Core standards, and how compared to how long it will take to make a cup of coffee? Like, compared to the old way, like you solve the problem, then you go make your coffee, and then the person who's still doing the Common Core style is still trying to solve the problem.
True.
You know, and with all the stuff with Common Core, I kind of get the idea that brains work differently. So they give you like 5 different ways of doing it.
But you have to master 5 different ways.
Then you have to master the way that would work for your brain and the other 4 brains that are not your brain. And you have to perfect every one of them. Like, teach me 5 ways and let me pick the one.
I want to just do it one way.
Yeah,
That's
one
all.
way's fine.
So
And by the way, carrying the one is okay.
And if you, try to teach me the one way. If I can't figure it out, I'll just accept the fact that I'm no good at math, and I'll go through my life that way. I can live with that, you know.
In your 40s, and you're finally accepting
I'll not
it.
be an accountant. All right, that's all.
Yeah, exactly. I'll find something else to do with myself.
I learned the phrase "keep the change." Everybody wins. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have to think about it. Oh my gosh. Tina, you got any nightmare homework, schoolwork things going on with Junior?
Just when he gets like super frustrated when he can't get it right. So there's been times where he's actually thrown his notebook and I had to duck.
Yeah.
We're still working on the emotional piece, but other than that, not particularly. He would just get, I guess, more or less likely, just when he gets super frustrated, he's still trying to figure out how to properly channel it.
And it's difficult too because he's out of his environment where he's like, well, I'm frustrated. I don't know how to do this. These are the steps I usually take. And now he's like, no, I'm here at home and my mom doesn't know it either or whatever. I'm not sure that's not necessarily the case, but like everything is just so different. It's so crazy. And they don't want to hear it from us. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, the difference between being at school with a teacher that you potentially know absolutely nothing about, to trying to do it in front of your parents who have seen every outburst and moment of insanity that you've ever had in your entire life. So the opportunities for outbursts are like just unlimited. Just because you feel more comfortable. I think our kids get frustrated too, and there's like 10,000 times more likely to just be like, screw this, I'm done. And like, where are they? If they were in school, are they going to do that? Is my son going to get up from his desk in the middle of math class and be like, you know what? I'm done. See you later.
No, but your son who feels that way at school then goes home and does that to you because they've had it bottled up all day and now they just let it loose.
They have different rapports for different people.
This is bull crap.
This is bull crap. Yeah, that's a classic one.
Oh, is that a phrase we're using now?
Nice.
Yeah. I
love it.
Everything that comes out of my youngest son's mouth deserves to be a needle point somewhere. I get it out right now. It's just one great quote after another.
My favorite is "This is suffering."
Oh, that's solid.
Like, wow.
Any phrases?
Yeah, let's capitalize on this. So in history today, we'll be learning about.
You're going to see some real hard times today.
Yeah,
right. I don't want to I don't want to run up against the end of our time before we ask Tina about traveling via airplane during this whole thing. Because Tina, I know it's a sad topic, but I want you to share some of that experience. You had to fly with your son to Cincinnati recently.
So 2 weeks ago today, actually not too far from when you guys called me, I had gotten the call that my grandmother had unexpectedly passed away.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So like me, I usually run on adrenaline. Oddly enough,
booked a flight.
Cried within the moments I got the call after talking to my sister. getting all my crying out before I got home to tell my son.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then was telling him, hey, we do have to go. We do have to go to there. He
Were
didn't
you
want to
still
go.
able to have a service?
Hmm?
Were you still able to have a service? Like here, we're not allowed to have services anymore.
That was actually, we were since it was back home in Ohio, it was just before the
Thank goodness.
the stay at home
Yeah.
order
Yeah.
was made. After like talking to him, having my friend talk to my son, we were able to finally get on a plane that night and go
Wow.
home. Going there,
Wow.
at least our airport was busier than usual. So this is the issue with why it's so big out here, because we have an international airport.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
you're going to have a lot of international travelers
Yeah,
coming and
absolutely.
going.
From everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hence why probably New York City is probably, as we
Yeah.
were discussing before, why
That's true.
why it could be such a pandemic over
Yeah.
there.
That and a giant population in a small area,
Well,
I think, is also
It makes
Correct.
sense to have it on
Correct.
the
And
coast.
you'll find it similar here in
on
in
the
the
coast.
Seattle area.
Yeah.
So like it was busy. It was busier, but you could tell it was like it wasn't busy like an
Sure.
airport normally would be.
Yeah.
Everybody was wearing masks, wearing gloves. So there was like, you either look like you were scrubbing in for surgery, or you looked like Bane, or you look like you're getting ready to paint something. That was the levels of like everybody like wearing masks.
Yeah.
But other than that, planes were pretty empty.
Yeah.
The flights was insanely cheap, like under $300 for the both of us.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please ride our planes.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a
Oh, go ahead.
No, I didn't want to interrupt you. I was just I was reminded that they had some footage from here in Pittsburgh. Apparently, they don't use all the runways at Pittsburgh's airport, so one of the airlines decided they were just going to park all their planes here. And there's
Really?
video from here in Pittsburgh's airport on one of the runways. They're just planes nose to nose, like dozens of them, as far as you can see. Because I mean,
Crazy.
Pittsburgh's airport was built for a higher capacity than actually exists here in
Sure.
Pittsburgh right now.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of dead space out here.
Huh.
But
Well, I know
yeah.
planes were still flying for a long time as ghost planes because they'd lose their terminal space if they didn't make their window. So they must have changed that, or they wouldn't be able to do that, I guess.
Quite possibly.
Yeah, I think that,
Flying back here, our regional airport in Cincinnati, the northern Kentucky area was pretty much a ghost town.
Huh.
Our layover in Dallas was fairly busy, and again with the same thing
It's
with
quite the trip
Seattle
there.
Tacoma.
Yeah.
Yeah, Seattle Tacoma
Seattle.
National Airport.
Texas.
Jen and
Wow.
I have passed through the Northern Kentucky Regional Airport many times from when I was living in Georgia. And even at its best, on the best travel days, it was a nightmarish, just hellscape of an airport. Like, it's the worst thing I've ever been to.
Not
One
even
of
a
the worst
Cinnabon?
travel experiences. It was, who cares? 20 Cinnabons could not have overtaken what was going on at this airport. There's like 3 buildings.
And that's it.
It's terrible.
I got stuck at Terminal C
Oh,
Okay.
who's this kicking in?
for 10 hours.
Oh,
wow.
no.
Oh.
10
She's
hours.
traveling.
My very first time, not my very first time flying in general, but the first time going down to Georgia to see him, I was stuck 10 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that's not even the worst part of the trip.
What was the worst? It wasn't seeing me. That was not the worst part. That was the best
By
part.
then, I just wanted to go home.
Like, forget it. He's
You couldn't
not.
wait to get back on
I
that
could
plane
not
after
get
your
away.
flight down.
I just wanted to go home, because from there to Columbia, South Carolina, but then, we don't have any planes going out, so we're going to get you ground transportation. So it's just me and this gentleman, and I'm so tired, I can't sleep. I'm going through these swamps. I'm like, I'm going to end up dead. It was
And this is where I will meet
That was
the
before Uber.
alligator.
That was before Uber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've done that a few times.
Yeah.
The Midwest is always where you run into trouble.
Well, I guess that's the question too, is are things like everything is questionable now? Like, do you take Ubers even, like every time you go out of your house now, you're wondering if you're, am I getting it right now? Is this when I get the virus?
Yeah,
it in
because
the
it's
sky?
usually with Uber, you're in closer contact than you would be on a bus.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like,
Yeah, a lot of people going
I'm
in and out.
actually, because I travel by bus to get to work a lot of the time, and
Uh-huh.
I'm like thankful that there's. This is actually kind of sad that I'm actually kind of thankful that there's no, like, everybody's staying at home, because I can actually get a seat on a bus. I don't actually have somebody who's like this close to my face on the bus.
Sure, it's not bad.
Yeah.
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 I feel like I want to ride a plane right now because
know.
like it's gonna be dead. There'll
Yeah.
be no one there.
It's like first class everywhere you go.
yeah.
Play across all the seats.
Well, that just everything's just got to be the cleanest that it's ever
It's
been.
ever been.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're showing they have the fog machines now that they go between the planes and they fog out the seats.
So crazy.
So it's good. I'm starting to wonder if this is the right time to try
It's cheap.
first class.
Oh my gosh, you can fly first class
What do you
for
think?
nothing.
Did you even look at the first class tickets? I bet you would have gotten like you had champagne.
Like
I
$350
did-
and you would have had champagne.
No, I didn't check the first class seats. I was just like I said, I was just running on.
Right,
Like,
you were
Yeah,
just trying to get
exactly.
out.
mode.
No, I wouldn't have even thought of it either. Yeah.
I mean,
no, it's
I got
great.
like I said, I got like a red eye flight for
Oh,
like under $300.
that's
So
amazing.
Yeah, to get last minute and just go.
Just that, yeah, for last minute.
Well, your boss had to
Yeah.
fly, and he got a one-way ticket for $100, and there were 3 people on the plane.
Yeah.
yeah,
He got a day off or the day before. It
Yeah.
was
So
crazy.
just hop on the plane and go.
Nuts.
Nobody wants to go.
Yeah, we
True.
see all the video of the highways too, the rush hour highways, and there's just
Oh,
no
yeah.
cars out there. We don't get to
There's
go out
no
and
cars
experience
out
it too
there.
much because most of us are just hanging out in our homes. But I mean, Tina, you're out there, you're seeing these empty roads too, right?
yeah,
So,
practically like what would normally be, because I transferred between 2 buses to get to work. What would be an hour and a half because of all the clogged freeways,
Right.
for me only takes me maybe a little bit under about 45 minutes between
Yeah.
even with transfer, and that's enough time. I'm not supposed to be at work at 9, and I leave the house at like 7:15.
Oh,
I'm able to like stop at my transfer station, get a cup of coffee, get a breakfast
Yeah.
sandwich, and then just get on my go to work.
The little perks of
Yeah.
a big disturbance, right?
Yeah.
you wonder how much of it's gonna like stick too.
Mhm.
People are like, you know what? I can actually
Yeah.
work from home. Maybe I should continue this.
Yeah.
Or bosses being more open to it.
Mhm.
Oh, I guess you did get some stuff done. Maybe
Yeah.
that's not so bad, you know?
Yeah.
I don't
Big
think we're
fan.
ever going all the way back to normal. Like,
I don't think so.
especially just talking about like work and school and stuff like that. Like, there's got to be a lot of people out there just realizing how much easier it is to
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
go to college from home, or just
Sure.
bosses who are like, I'm
What's the-
saving so much money,
what's
I don't
that,
need this office,
Phoenix? What is the totally online school? What is it?
Yeah,
Something.
University of
Phoenix being
University.
one of them.
Yeah,
and there are a bunch of other ones.
they're gonna be like through the roof next year.
Yeah.
People are like, screw
Well,
these like actual classes.
It's more than just it's more than just the individual realization. It's the companies realizing that a lot of people are going to want that, and if you can accommodate that, you're going to get the better talent.
That's true.
It's going to be another one of those things that everyone's going to be looking for.
Now, Chris here, I'm not sure if you know Tina, but he has been working from home for 2 years.
I feel like the
so
entire
his
world
life
is-
has not changed.
The entire world is bending to my lifestyle. We had the little kids, so we could never leave the house as a couple.
That's true.
And now you can watch movies at home. You can get food delivered. I've been working at home for a couple of years, and I'm like, yeah, come join me.
And a
This
cool
is good.
perk, like here in New York, there's a waiver that bars and restaurants not only can like serve you takeout, but they can give you takeout alcohol. It's
And
amazing.
I'm starting to realize we bragged
Oh,
about this
wow.
2 weeks ago, and
we
we still
did, and we still
haven't.
haven't done
We
it.
still haven't
But
done
you can
it,
get
so
cocktails from your favorite places, and they'll
We
just
must-
like serve it. To
we
you.
must do this. We
Tomorrow.
must do it tomorrow.
I want like a full documentation of this experience.
We're just so
purpose.
used
Yeah.
to drinking at home. Our bar is amazing. We just don't go anywhere. No, but we should tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll write up a little like blog about how
Oh, yeah.
amazing takeout
I gotta see
alcohol
it.
is.
So
Yeah,
so
I want to know if it's
Yes.
everything that we dream it could be. Because I mean, here in our oppressive Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, the state government runs the liquor stores,
Yeah.
so they
Yeah,
shut those down.
I
But
know.
recent development:
You can order online.
you can now order your booze online from the state.
Yay! What?
Nice.
Obviously,
That's
the state
amazing.
coffers were getting a little thin, and they were
They're
like,
like,
"We've got
wait
to
a
get this
minute.
booze selling machine going
These
again,
parents are
people.
teaching from home. We better get alcohol
We
into
have
them.
got to get some liquor into these parents now."
Or they're gonna start driving to New York to get their booze.
Well, I think
Uh,
it's
And-
that way in Ohio too. Because I saw that on the news today that people were driving across state lines.
Oh, interesting.
It wouldn't
I'm sure
surprise
there's a
me.
lot of crossing across the West
I'm
Virginia
sure they are.
Panhandle,
Going-
yeah.
It's like going to
Interesting
Canada when you're
anecdote.
underage to.
Yeah, no, yeah, gotta go to
I mean,
Canada.
living 20
Yep.
minutes away from that, guilty.
Oh, many
Yeah.
times.
It's a 2-hour trip here, so
Oh,
Nice.
20
Oh, yeah,
minutes.
you're right. You're pretty close too. All right, yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
cool.
There are border
my-
crossing stores here later.
My niece's fiance lives in the UK, and his parents own a restaurant there, and they've completely shut down. They're like allowed out once a day for exercise, is what he said. I'm like, how are they
Wow.
monitoring that? But anyway, the interesting anecdote about alcohol is that they are afraid of like looting or breaking in, and so they took all of the alcohol
Out of the
from their restaurant, and it's just like in laundry baskets in their living room at home because they didn't want to leave it in the store.
wow.
That's true, though.
I mean, I'm like, you're never gonna go drive there. That's
Don't
good
worry,
housing.
it'll be safe in my living room. You know what? It'll be safe in my stomach. Let's move to our stomachs. It'll be
There's
safe
a
there.
tear.
I'll have the perfect place to keep all this alcohol.
Well,
Um,
the final thought I have on that is if you need an excuse to drink, we're really finding a lot of talk about the world is changing. We're seeing neighbors and people from far away by playing video games online where there's social games you can play
Sure.
like from Jackbox or others that
Mhm.
you can just get all together and everyone's got they answer their answers to their phone, and you can use things like Zoom sessions or Google Hangouts to communicate with each other,
Yeah.
and it gives you just a chance to hang out. We've done it with you guys, Tina. We should bring you in on the next one, and it's just a fun time to just
Yeah.
bring people together real quick. It's pretty easy to do too.
It is. And like we've
Yeah.
used Google Hangouts
Mhm.
like this. We've used FaceTime, group chat, house party is kind of fun because
House
it lets you
party.
know when people are like, I had my neighbor and my mom and we were all just chatting about nothing. It was just like house party is kind of a fun app. It
People are
like makes
open
you
to
feel
just-
connected.
People are open
Yeah.
to just talking,
Yeah.
so
Anyway.
people are coming together.
Yeah, it's really it's the adult contact that's really missing. It's
So this is
Yes,
really nice. You
yeah.
can do
that's
this.
it's hard to do. So that's part of the reason we do this. Another part is because, well, I guess it's the same reason. We just miss all you guys. Shouldn't you be in bed? All right,
Hey, bud.
all right. We gotta get this kid to bed. It's almost 10 o'clock on the East Coast, Tina.
It is.
So before we
Yes.
let everybody go, would you like to share any kind of words of wisdom or inspiration or anything else to help anyone listening kind of find their way through this?
I guess kind of like what you touched on a little bit before. I want everyone to like delve into their sense of community. We're isolated, but there's little
Yeah.
things you can do to help out.
Absolutely.
A bunch of us here like sent donated meals and delivered meals to the ER and the nurses across the street over here where I'm at the hospital. Helping, just an encouraging word to your frontline grocery workers, direct
Absolutely.
health services, stuff like that. Just help out a neighbor in need. Just something small. Be mindful. That's all.
Sure.
Yeah. Always have a contingency plan too. If we're learning anything now, a contingency plan, a backup plan to get through this times like this,
Sure.
it does wonders.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Wise
definitely
words.
it's definitely cash under the mattress season right now. So definitely,
Yeah, like I said, that I don't think I would have been able to fly out if I did not have that in hand.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like Chris, our grandfather notoriously like squirreled away cash in his house, and it was crazy. But he
Grandpa-
grew up in a time when they had gone through some serious
that's
stuff,
true.
and people were like, "We are
That's
not
true.
doing that again.
Mhm.
Save your money. Don't
Cash
give it to
is-
that bank."
Yeah.
You know what?
Mhm.
Exactly. So on a candid note, I was raised by my grandparents, hence why
Yeah.
the rush to home.
Sure.
And that's exactly what they taught me as well.
Yeah.
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 Well, and I was just going to say, that was the mentality that was learned from the Depression era. It's going to be interesting to see what type of things that the kids learned from the sanitation era.
Walking 10 feet away from people
or at
all the
least
time.
washing a little bit more. Who knows what type of practices are going to come out of this, not to mention a lot of the remote stuff we were talking about already. So
I wanted to add something really quick. I know we're out of time here, but it's easy to get wrapped up in like the Facebook perfect world where you're looking at everybody else's life and thinking that you're inadequate or you're maybe not doing what you could be doing. And I think that social media is extremely important right now to feel connected and to feel like you're part of a bigger thing and you're a part of this community. But just keep the things that you see as like, that's what that one thing that one person did today.
Okay, yeah.
Like that's that one thing. And maybe like you can use them as ideas, but like, let's
we
not
also had
beat ourselves up.
We also had those low
about
points.
it.
We all have the low points.
We're all
remember
riding the wave here.
Oh,
Yeah, don't.
Sorry, and not to interrupt, but to actually kind of like piggyback on your point too. What I've seen a lot, at least out here, just in general with the Seattle area, is a lot of people like to stay within their own bubble. Especially, I'm seeing it now during this time. I challenge everyone to extend it outside of their bubble. Someone who you do see,
don't normally. Yeah.
That's in trouble, that could
Sure.
use that a little bit of help or a little bit of guidance.
Absolutely.
Make a big difference.
Someone that
Yeah.
needs
Make a little bit
a
of a
social
difference.
connection that maybe won't have it otherwise because they don't have family around or they don't have, like reach out to those people. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, don't crop out the mess in the corner before you post your picture on Facebook. Because
Let's leave
there ain't no
that.
shame right now. Don't do that. Don't crop it out. Leave it there so we all feel good about ourselves, right?
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The,
Anything you want to inspire? You want to say? Right?
It's gonna be okay.
You think?
We'll get over it.
That's the spirit.
Oh my God, I hope.
Depends
Well, I
on when
mean,
you
hey, I mean,
depends
you
on
were
when you
not-
catch
you-
me.
You were not talking that way earlier, honey. You were like, someone in this house is getting thrown out. So
You know what? Half the days I'm like, I can't stop crying, and the other half of the days I'm like, we got this.
Yeah.
It was up until today. Today I was just I was done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
grab that.
And then I went upstairs. This was last night to watch the rest of Tiger King. And someone
Hey, I'm not taking the. I just want to know the reason that the Netflix was not working had nothing to do with me.
It was not your fault.
It was not my fault. And we're
It was your
gonna
father.
get that fixed. All
I
right.
can see where this is going.
We're gonna get that taken care of. We were gonna watch that Tiger King.
it was his
all right?
father. And I called him today and I said, we have a problem. And he's like, what's wrong? What's wrong with the kids? Is Matt okay? Are you okay? I was like, they're fine. No. I don't know what happened on the end of Tiger King. Where's Netflix?
I need Tiger King.
Tears are streaming down your face. You're like, I can't even watch my show.
And then,
That's
you know,
how I
Mr. Jokes himself, I was like, this is a serious time. I need to know.
All right. Well, that's the alarm go.
My small world problems.
There's some serious problems, serious self-quarantine problems. All right. The kid is going off. That's our signal to get out of here. Tina from Seattle, thank you very much for
Thank
coming on
you
with
for
us
having me
at this
on.
late hour.
Thank you.
We must bring you back again and stay strong. And hey, since you mentioned it, thank you for all the good work you're doing with all the events
Yes.
out there, because that is
Tina,
important
thank
work,
you.
especially
Thank
right now.
you.
Straight
So
up there. You
keep
get
up
our
the good
Thank
work.
you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Keep a close eye on Junior, Chris and Elaine, and we'll see you around. Jen, my
Bye,
wife, I love you
guys.
very much. We'll get through
Bye.
this. All right, everybody. See you next time. Check out, listen to your parents, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Keep up on the action. We'll see you next time.
You got this, guys.
You got
Send help.
Got it.
it. Send help.
Please.